before Barry Bedbug bites is like this. Sure, you want that mother, Archie? You can have his ass. Because he's definitely more trouble than what it's worth. We ain't had a hit from his ass, just got to give it up. Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Today's lookies would be our Gwen Gold Hoops. Love, love, love. And if you are not already a part of our book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube, and for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes you, can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's continue talking about Divided Soul, the life of Marvin Gaye by David Ritz. Gordy was still reeling from an even stronger blow. After 20 years with the label, his biggest star and brightest creation, Diana Ross, who had already moved from Los Angeles to New York, had finally cut the cord completely by signing a multi-million-dollar contract with RCA. Diana said Marvin had somewhere to go. I didn't. You know why? Let me take it back. Remember how I said earlier that them Aries be lunching? Okay? That's not Diana Ross. Of all the stars, the shining Aries star, that mother hunchy Diana was about her business. Okay? And that's because the Berry Gordy stayed on her neck. So he gave her great work ethic. Now, when it comes down to the Marvy Poo, he probably didn't want to be bothered with all them emotions and not deal with all that sensitivity. I ain't got time. I ain't got time for that business, okay? You grown. Do what you need to do. That's one thing that, thank you, Mommy, because she afforded me the capability to go to college. What college does for you is not just give you an education, but it gives you the tools so that you can assimilate yourself properly into the world, okay? And one thing that I learned in my first year of college was ain't nobody going to coddle you to do your work. They give you a syllabus. This is what you need to do. It's up to you to get it done. You ain't even got to go to class sometimes. All you need to do sometimes is just turn in your work. In high school, you know they constantly on you. Did you do your homework? Don't forget to do your homework. Hey, remember to do your homework. I thought that when I was in college, that if she ain't remind you, that meant that you ain't have to do it. How about the next day when I had to report for class and that lady said, here go your test for them 3 chapters that I told you to read, and I got a motherfucking F. I said, oh shit, y'all ain't playing with me. Ooh, no record deal, no money. Anna has stripped me of my fortune. Bullshit. You was broke before you even gave Anna that money. Remember, nigga? Remember, you didn't have the money to pay her. Remember? So how you going to blame it on Anna when you ain't give the money to Anna until after you did the tour? You was broke before you paid Anna. Missed my mother, missed my son, Marvin, and my daughter, Nona. But I couldn't go back. You didn't want Nona. Let's say that. You didn't want her. When it was time for you, when you and Jan got into it over there in Hawaii, your bitch ass was like, just to be mean, give me Bubby. Nona, with her eyes, is like, Daddy, you don't want me? Just give me Bubby. I missed my mother, missed my son Marvin, and my daughter Nona, but I couldn't go back. not to a country that had just elected Ronald Reagan, a cowboy, was running America, and I was still running away. I had to keep running. If I hadn't got out of the crazy dope scene in London, I'd have been dead in a month. Death? What do you mean, getting out of the crazy scene? You was still smoking crack still, wherever you went. I don't get it. In the spring of 1981, Marvin Gaye was saved by an unlikely source, a blues-loving businessman from Belgium who fished the singer out of England's shark-infested waters. The man was convinced he could get the singer back on his feet. To a large extent, he succeeded, although to a larger extent, along with everyone else who tried to help Marvin, he finally failed. Freddie Consort inspired Marvin. Also, in his early 40s, he resembled the boxer Ingmar Johansson. So let me tell you about this dude, Freddie Consort. He found Marvin Pooh, in his, his dark room, his dark place, moved him into his house with his wife. The goodness within people. I could be that person sometimes. Sometimes I could be so naive that I get on my own nerves. But I want to believe in the goodness of the universe. What happened was he brung a sex symbol into his house with his wife. Gave him a little room off the kitchen, like he was Nell Carter on Give Me a Break, or, the maid round there to the Brady Brunch. And he worked with Marvin Gaye, helping to nurse him to a state where he could make music again. Discovering Marvin Gaye down and out in London was one of the great events of Consort's life. He'd been a fan for 20 years, and suddenly here was the man himself in desperate need of help. That's just what happened. Consort brought Marvin and Bubby to Ostend, a fashionable Flemish city of 80,000, where Freddie and his wife Lillian owned a modest pension a block away from the beach. Pension? Is that another name for house? Or flat? Or I don't know, efficiency, whatever, I don't know. But it say pension. The only pension I know is the pension that I got from working for the government. The first priority was a record deal with the help of Curtis Shaw in Los Angeles. Marvin planned the strategy. First, he had to divorce Motown. Very surprised me, Gaye said. After all we'd been through, all the fussing and fighting, he acted like a gentleman. If you want out and we get the right price for you, then go. BG proved himself to me. I really believed he's a great man. I told y'all, when Barry Bedbug Bites ain't being a bitch, he's excellent. He's a great person, but most Sagittarians are. Most fire signs are. What happened was, he went around there to CBS, okay? CBS, how you doing? Okay, this is Marvin Pooh. And just like that, in the early spring of 1981, Marvin ended a 20-year relationship with Motown. At long last, he successfully fought the fright that had prevented him from making the move earlier. Free of Mama Anna and Papa Barry, he was finally on his own. The next step was finding a new label. I wasn't going to peddle myself like I was some kid on the block, he explained. I didn't want to hear about any rejection, so I went about it differently. I decided what I wanted was to be with the biggest and best record company in the world, and I made it happen. I told Curtis to put out a feeler to CBS. Meaning, once you go around there and just, kind of sort of mention, oh yeah, Marvin Pooh ain't with Motown anymore. Ironically, just about this time, Larkin Arnold, head of black music for Columbia Records, CBS, was being touted as the new Berry Gordy, a black man about Marvin's age, a lawyer and a former executive at Capitol, where he brought Natalie Cole to stardom. Arnold had a reputation as a tough, shrewd corporate infighter, a man who understood how to make money on music. Michael Jackson, for example, was among those in his current stable of artists. Well, the word stable, I don't want to be associated with that. Arnold was interested and had the backing of his bosses who ran CBS Records, Dick Asher and Walter Yetnikoff. But the word from London had been that Gaye had almost destroyed himself with Boogity Shoogity. Meanwhile, though Freddie was proving to be an expert at public relations, back in Belgium, he brought Marvin to national soccer games where he was presented at halftime, looking especially dapper in his English tweeds. He also introduced Gaye to Prince Charles of Belgium, himself a jazz fan, and a photograph of the three of them, Marvin, Freddie, and the Prince, hung in a place of honor in the bar of the concert pension. Okay. Look, mama, look what I got right here. See that right there? That's Marvin Pooh, okay? See that right there? That's the Prince. And then over there, that's me. Freddie kept Marvin busy, showing him the great museums of Europe and taking him to Paris to discuss terms with Larkin Arnold. Shortly after the start of 1982, the CBS deal was done, a triumph of negotiation. On March 13, 1982, Billboard reported some of the details, quoting Larkin Arnold. Motown had agreed on a figure for which they'd be willing to let Marvin go. Child, I ain't even got to read the next part. I know that shit wasn't very high. I'm sure Barry Bedbug Bites is like this. Sure, you want that mother, Archie? You can have his ass. Because he's definitely more trouble than what he's worth. We ain't had a hit from his ass since Got to Give It Up. Motown had agreed on a figure for which they'd be willing to let Marvin go. Then Curtis Shaw called me and asked if we'd be interested at that price. We said yes, after negotiating a little bit. The quote infuriated Marvin, because you know in Marvin, he still got them delusions of grandeur, okay? Why should Larkin tell the world that I didn't go for top dollar, he asked. It makes me look bad. No, you make yourself look bad, girl. Motown wanted $2 million, Shaw told me, but settled for 1.5, plus an override for CBS. Marvin would get $600,000 per album and was to deliver an album every 9 months. Let me take a drink on that. You think Marvin Pooh gonna be able to do that? Okay. Marvin Gaye can't even take a shit every 9 months. He can't do nothing consistently. Girl. As the winter of 1982 turned to spring, Gaye had undoubtedly gone through a transformation for the better. He'd gotten what he wanted, his freedom from Motown, and a juicy new contract to boot. His battle plan was laid out before him. Retake America by storm, but he still needed ammunition. When he brought the crude demonstration tape of his first version of Sexual Healing to Larkin Arnold in Brussels, 75 miles from Austin, Marvin provoked his new supervisor by showing up 8 hours late for the meeting. Arnold greeted, why don't y'all whoop his ass? It's nowhere in this book to say I got my ass whooped. One time, he said the police whooped his ass, and that was probably the only good whipping he ever got. I would have called the Goonies on his ass. You hear me? Hello, 640. Hi. Remember me? It's Nay. Hi. Can you get Mr. 640 on the main line, please? Okay. Hi, Mr. 640. I need you to come take care of this. I need you to, put a foot in the ass for me. Can you do that? Arnold greeted Gaye's tardiness with anger, reprimanding and cursing his artists. Marvin responded by declaring that his deal with CBS was off. They reconciled. Arnold heard Sexual Healing and immediately called America, telling his home office that, in his opinion, Gaye had just delivered the goods. Though Marvin promised Arnold he would finish his record by May and tour America that summer, the album wouldn't come out until winter and the tour wouldn't start until the summer of the following year. The initial track he recorded for his first and only CBS project was I've Got My Music, in which he described his struggle to free himself from Jan by putting his faith in music. That version was never released. In just a few months, this same melody, which stood as an anthem of hope and strength, would be changed into a sad defense of his own sexual potency. On the album Midnight Love, I've Got My Music became Turn on Some Music. Instead of healing his heart, music allowed Marvin to love a woman. The contrast between the version is a graphic record of Gaye's own vacillations as he fought his fears of inadequacies. Meanwhile, Marvin was as adamant about staying in Belgium as consort. He was still angry at America, claiming that his country had rejected him. No, the country ain't reject you, baby. You didn't pay your motherfucking taxes. Learn the distance. Listen, Marvin Pooh, you ain't no better than the rest of us, okay? If you don't pay your goddamn taxes, guess what? Uncle Sam don't want no parts of you. At that point on, now that you done invaded your taxes, now you's a criminal. Okay? And now they need to penalize your ass because you're a criminal now. You can't stay in America and not pay your taxes and get all the laps and luxuries of the America. America don't work like that. Them niggas ain't about to let you stay over here in America and do what you want to do in America and everybody else got to pay their damn taxes. That's not how America works, girl. Shoot. As his last resurrection was slowly being realized, his exile was drawing to an end. He wouldn't be able to stay put. He couldn't resist the final journey into the dark night. In May of 1982, he and Freddie, that's a dude consort, went to see Diana Ross at her Brussels concert. He arrived with fantasies of Diana proposing to him. Why the f would she want you, Marvin Pooh? Why would you do drugs? Diana don't do drugs. Do you remember when y'all did that duet album and you was blowing smoke in her face while she was pregnant with Tracy Ellis Ross? Is you crazy? He arrived with fantasies of Diana proposing to him, but wound up simply giving her advice about composing songs. Just right from real life, he told her. And someone from still further in his past reappeared. Harvey Fuqua. Just about then, Harvey Fuqua came up to see me, said Shaw. He was looking for Marvin, both because he wanted to work with him and also because he needed money. I mentioned Fuqua as a possible producer to Larkin, but Larkin was lukewarm on the idea. Fuqua broke. We don't need his broke ass around here with Marvin Pooh, and then we start the whole bullshit all over again. Gaye was ready. He needed reassurance. His incomplete album sounded uneven to him, formless. The further behind he fell in delivering the master tapes, the greater his fear that he'd lost the pulse of popular taste. When he heard Harvey's name mentioned as a possible producer, he welcomed the idea. He greeted his first mentor with open arms. Fuqua had come through with money when Marvin was broke in London. It was the perfect time to repay the debt. Even more importantly, no matter what their prior disputes, Gaye had great respect for Harvey's musical ability. That's right now. Let Harvey say something or do something that he don't like, then all of a sudden, Harvey's going to be the enemy. Okay, that's how the Marvin Pooh work. Right? Most frustrating nigga in the world, I swear. Fuqua had all the confidence that Marvin lacked. And he had something else. A woman named Marilyn Freeman, an acquaintance of Marvin's from his Detroit days who traveled with Fuqua to Belgium in the last half of 1982 to help Gaye through his traumas and trials. What was she going to do, fuck him? The reunion was sweet. Gaye was back with the man who first discovered him, who taught him his fundamental harmony and took him from the streets to the recording studio. There at the start, there at the finish, Fuqua's presence made a circular sense that typified much of Marvin's life in these final 2 years. In order to survive his crises of uncertainty, Marvin had the comfort of his first musical father. Marilyn Freeman, older than Gaye, assertive and strong, became his Jewish mother. How many mammies you need, Marvin Gaye? I could see if your mother was inadequate. But she is everything to you and then some. But you keep wanting to bring these new bitches in. I need attention from everywhere, everybody. Every time when I take a shit, I need somebody there to wipe my ass, okay? I need somebody there to flush the toilet. When I lay down, I need somebody to fluff my pillows. Now, know this. I do not waste my time with nobody I do not respect. He is frustrating me, but he is still Marvin Gaye. He is still that nigga. Marilyn Freeman, older than Gaye, assertive and strong, became his Jewish mother. Like Concert, she had no other star clients. Okay. Mammy/manager, lady that just be right there. Marvin was the kind of guy, Larkin Honor told me, who hired people on the spot. He liked telling people they could be his manager. He'd tell them anything. He was capable of naming 3 different managers or tour promoters in the same month. By the time his exile had ended, Marilyn Freeman became Gaye's new manager. Everything was running together. In October, Sexual Healing was released as a single. It hit immediately, becoming, according to Billboard, the fastest rising soul singer of the past 5 years. Now, if you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Now, remember this, the same people that you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. My naysayers, my patron loves, you babies. Have a good one. Thank you, Miss Juliet. Peace.